Joe Tessitore is standing by to continue the discussion.
Thanks, Bernardo. Good insight from Nigel as well. And in the wake of this scoring controversy, we thought it would be fitting to discuss the state of the game. And folks, this is not a reaction to what happened last week or a couple weeks ago, because this has been going on for a long, long time in the sport, on every level of the sport, from promoters and commissioners down to refs and judges. You go back to 1977 when Don King had the United States Boxing Championships, and Ring Magazine was falsifying records to benefit Don King and fighters that could take part in that tournament that was then scrapped. Or in the late 1990s when the IBF head Bob Lee was convicted on numerous charges taking bribes to ranked fighters. And you know, we see it often, and the fans react to what they see with officiating, referees and judging. Carlos Molina being disqualified recently, or right here in Canada, Marlon Wright, the referee that we had in our first fight. It was only a few years ago that he had a disputed long count, and Librado Andrade, possibly a chance for a title, was taken away from him in a fight against Lucian Butte. Eugenia Williams, what happened with Holyfield and Lennox Lewis in their first fight that demanded a rematch after such an egregious scorecard was turned. And of course, it always gets back to what happens at the end of a fight when the wrong guy's hand is raised in victory. And Teddy, I know you have a very strong opinion about this, and it concerns you deeply.
Well, it concerns me. It should concern everybody out there, and it should concern all of the boxing fans out there. It happened again last week. In the words of the late, great Bert Sugar, boxing suffered another black eye, but it's running out of eyes to blacken. The credibility of our sport is once again in question when inept judging caused Richard Abreu his just rewards. A win, chance to move on to bigger, better things. All Abreu did was dominate the undefeated, highly favored Brandon Rios in everyone's opinion, except the two judges. In essence, those two judges have now caused Abreu not just this decision, but thousands of punches to come, trying to get back to a position where he can earn more lucrative purses. That's what all fighters are trying to do. You remember a couple of weeks back, the referee in the Carlos Molina, James Kirkland fight seemed to be the cause of the last credibility issues. That referee chose to disqualify Carlos Molina because his corner man was allowed into the ring before the referee was done counting after a knockdown at the bell. That referee potentially persuaded by a member of Kirkland's promotional team who was seen screaming for disqualification. Well, he did just that. He disqualified Molina. Now Molina must endure countless more punches before he gets another shot at big money, if he ever gets that shot. This sport's been around over 100 years. And through time, we have learned that when given the chance and the training, men of all denominations, rich, poor, big, small, they'll find a way to scratch, claw, fight their way to a win. But sometimes that great effort's taken away from them. In the sport where the strong are supposed to survive, it seems to also relate to the fighter with the strongest connections. The landscape of boxing outside the ring is like the old Wild West. And as in that time and place, anything goes. Like the Wild West, we have sheriffs in our local commissions, but too many of them seem to be influenced by the wrong side. Why? Well, why wouldn't they be? Who's watching them? All the sports have governing bodies to watch tower over their business to ensure proper administration of laws and rules, to make sure the local sheriffs are not being improperly influenced by the wealthiest, most powerful in the town, but rather that they're protecting all people, no matter who their friends may be. That's the way it's supposed to be. Boxing is losing their fans. It's in danger of becoming irrelevant, an irrelevant sport. Fans seem to be flocking to the MMA. Who can blame them? Whether we're dealing with pure corruption, total incompetence, or a combination of both, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the same old things happening. I'm sick of seeing the sport that I love and I've worked in for 40 years falling apart at the hands of people who are just in it for themselves and the mighty dollar they can put in their pockets. We need a national commission. We need it now, before we have no fans left and we lose the opportunity, that great opportunity, to witness the magic when a person against all odds finds a way for at least one night to be called champion.
Tonight, Adonis Stevenson is trying to work his way to be called a champion. He'll be taking on Noe Gonzalez in our main event when we return.
Okay.